Dear students, continuing on with thematic apperception test, we today will be talking about the stories which exhibit your sense of responsibility. Now, what is the sense of responsibility? Today, we are a citizen of the most populous country of the world, and in this big lot of numbers, many people are lost. They're lost in terms of approach, they're lost in terms of behavior, they're lost in terms of what they have to do and what they should do. So all of the people generally are running helter-skelter and they are really not having a approach. Unfortunately, our politicians have exhibited a very irregular behavior, and somewhere in the economical boom, we have lost values, and we tend to be very, very equational in our approach. We tend to be very equational in the sense we do something, we expect the return immediately. But do we have that same value which is called a sense of responsibility towards everyone? Unmindful of rewards? Do we have that? Unfortunately, no. Many of us do not think of anything but reward. The moment they do anything, they expect, please give me the reward, I have done this for you. Everything has become a barter system where everything which is done, a person expects reward, but they do not have the sense of motivation to really do something for the sake of right values, for the sake of respect, for the sake of nation, for the sake of people, for the sake of their dutifulness. We daily see reels on people telling that we should take care of our parents. Daily see reels where parents are running here and there and not able to serve their child. We daily see reels that when youngsters become prominent, they do not think of their older ones. We daily see reels that people have arguments with seniors. Now, what is this? This basically is due to ill discipline, but a sense of responsibility. Now, what is the sense of responsibility? It is very closely knitted to discipline. As discipline makes us continuous in our behavior, similarly, sense of responsibility is the psychological motivation which makes us do a thing. I have said enough. Now, for example, still let me explain it. For an example, I would like to explain you is a doctor. Now, there are two types of doctors. One doctor who comes, serves, takes the fees and goes. There are some doctors who really take interest in the patient. In addition to the fees, they ensure that the patient goes well. They also give them more time. They are not looking for traveling in a Mercedes. They are more interested in their profession. They enjoy the profession. They do give 100% to the profession. And that is why patients love them, respect them. So when you become an armed forces officer, this behavior is what makes you truly respected. In our continent, particularly in our country, we will find our country men are very, very respectful to the armed forces people because they have great sense of respect for them because of their sense of responsibility. The Indian armed forces has earned this respect by their regular behavior of responsible conduct. Whenever you find them in difficulties, in personal emergencies within the nation, they are always there. You'll find them setting up good examples in front of people. Indian Armed Forces really wants to keep this tradition on. So they really value the sense of responsibility. So when you write in a thematic apperception test, when you get a person doing something, there is a thought process of sense of responsibility. And that thought process, sense of responsibility is basically when a person, when given a duty, does not think to do the perfunctory aspect, does not want to do it casually, wants to do it deeply, nicely and properly. give it its 100%. Am I right? Now this 100%, execution is very important for success. And some people have it, some people don't have it. Some people, when you give them a job, they don't bother about the time. They complete the job, whether it is late, 3 o'clock in the morning. They only sleep when they complete the job. And there are some people who will do job only in a sense of duty. The time is up. Job, let it be pending. We'll see it tomorrow. A responsible person will complete it. Now, why am I explaining this to you? I'm explaining this to you because in your stories, when you write a person and his behavior, his thought process is with a sense of responsibility, where the person tries to do a thing with a complete interest to make sure that the thing is complete. He may be a doctor, he may be an engineer, he may be a student, he may be a child, he may be anyone, but whenever they do the job very nicely and tries, that emotion is evident in the story, where a person tends to have that feeling from within that they have to complete it and do it very well. This is appreciated in your psychological appraisal. This is appreciated because you sound responsible. So this sense of responsibility is a thought process. And I'm sure that if you identify that some people have it, some people don't have it. Some people are very casual. They make you wait for hours. There are people who are careful that if they've told someone, they'll reach in time. There are some people who give deadlines, so they try to complete the deadlines. There are people who are understanding that if they get late, then others will suffer. So they have a sense of responsibility towards others. So any story where you have a feeling, like for example, a farmer is there. He's a father of 2 sons and he really wants to do well for his son. So he does this, does that, does this, and he makes sure that the sons become successful. Now, father has a sense of responsibility. This is a doctor. He finds a lot of people admitted in the hospital and many of them suffering seriously. He decides to give them not only the best treatment, but best of care, and regularly monitors everything, comes round the clock again and again, and makes sure that all the patient goes back. Sense of responsibility. There is an engineer, he has a project and he realizes that it's getting delayed, but he realizes if it gets delayed, it will be causing havoc, it would be causing loss. So he makes sure that things are done. Now he uses all the measures possible to complete the job. Sense of responsibility. Now all these kind of stories speak of you. You have your parents and you have been giving an exam and your parent is ill, but you realize that you have to do your exam as well as take care of them, and in the process you do the multitasking, but you complete it. Am I right? Sense of responsibility. You are given a task by your teachers that you have to do this, a project, but you also have exams, but you manage both of them and you try to do not only the studies well but also the project well. Sense of responsibility. So do you realize the importance of sense of responsibility? There are many people who enjoy great reputation. Everyone who wants to be a part of a good position or a post of respect, reputation, and responsible post, senior post, he has to have a sense of responsibility. So when you write such stories, you take a picture and utilize and write it in such fashion, you convey the message that you have this quality and you understand that you have to do this. That is what is the purpose of thematic apperception test. You are given different pictures, but if you have your mind set that yes, I have to express my thing, how I did it, you must have done it in n number of times. Now there is this house captain sitting there, that is the Air Force person sitting there. This boy from Delhi has done different duties at different time. One from Kerala has done it. So now what are you doing actually? You've done it. But if you don't express, who will come to know of it? So you have to express. So is it clear that in thematic apperception test, there will be a picture. They'll show you a person standing in front of the notice board. You can write a story where you have been given a job and you did it very well. You took full interest. You gave your 100%. You made sure everything is done. Sense of responsibility. Is it clear? We've already talked about determination. We've already talked about organizing. We've already talked about, what else have we talked? Planning. In that context, we've talked about determination. We've talked about organizing. We've also talked about a little bit about your, what is that? Emergency handling, haven't we? Because you don't have to panic. You have to be composed and do your things. Now we'll talk more about other different stories, different ideas. And remember, whenever you write a story with your expression of some sense of responsibility, you automatically land up expressing other qualities also. That means a little bit of reasoning, little bit of application, little bit of cooperation, little bit of planning. Everything walks in. But you should have the thoughts clear that you have to express all these qualities, all these experiences of your past, so that the psychologist comes to know about it. And later on in the interview, you can verify it by your conversation. And of course, in the GT, you can do well. So I hope you have understood this small message which I wanted to pass it on to you, how you can go ahead in your thematic apperception test. Hope you can understand these lessons. And particularly this February 25, with all the students here, we would like maximum of you get selected. God bless you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.